When I developed the first photograph from my new Polaroid camera, I thought the shadow behind my daughter was a trick of the light. By the fifth photograph, I realized it was a woman. And she was getting closer. Every single day. Welcome to Nick's Scary Stories. Tonight's tale comes from Modesto, California. From a man who thought he found a bargain at a garage sale. But what he brought home wasn't just a camera. It was a window into something that should have stayed hidden. Turn off the lights. Put on your headphones. And remember, some things are better left unphotographed. My name is Daniel. I'm 34. A high school history teacher. In August 2022, I bought a Polaroid camera at a garage sale on Oakdale Road. It was a Saturday morning. Hot. Dry. Typical Central Valley summer. I wasn't looking for anything specific. Just killing time before my daughter Emma's soccer game. The camera was sitting on a card table. Among old books. Dusty picture frames. Kitchen utensils no one wanted. It was a Polaroid SX-70. The folding kind. Brown leather. Chrome trim. Beautiful. Vintage. The kind hipsters pay $300 for on eBay. The price tag said $15. The woman running the sale was old. Maybe 70. Maybe older. Thin. Gray hair pulled back tight. She watched me pick up the camera. Her eyes narrowed. "You sure you want that?" she asked. Her voice was rough. Like she smoked for 50 years. I laughed. "For $15? Absolutely." She didn't smile. She just stared. "It works," she said. "Too well." I thought she was joking. I paid cash. She put it in a plastic bag. As I walked away, she called after me. "Don't photograph what you can't see." I turned. What? But she was already walking back inside her house. The garage door closing behind her. I forgot about it until that night. Emma was drawing at the kitchen table. My wife Rebecca was making dinner. I loaded the camera with film I'd bought at Target. Expensive. $20 for 8 shots. But I wanted to try it. I aimed at Emma. "Smile, kiddo." She grinned. Big toothy 7-year-old smile. I pressed the button. The camera whirred. The photo slid out. White. Blank. Developing. Rebecca and I watched it appear. Slowly. Like magic. First the kitchen cabinets. Then the table. Then Emma's face. Smiling. Perfect. Except. Behind her. In the doorway to the living room. There was something. A shadow. Tall. Thin. Blurred. Like someone standing just out of focus. I squinted. "Did you see that?" Rebecca leaned closer. "See what?" I pointed. There. Behind Emma. In the doorway. She looked. Shrugged. "It's just a shadow. From the light." I wanted to believe her. But I'd taken that photo. And no one had been standing there. The next morning. Sunday. We went to the farmer's market downtown. I brought the camera. It was fun. Retro. People noticed it. I took a photo of Rebecca holding a bouquet of sunflowers. The photo developed. Beautiful. Golden light. Her smile. The flowers. And behind her. Standing between 2 vendor tents. The same shadow. Taller this time. More defined. I could almost see. A shape. A head. Shoulders. Arms. I didn't say anything. I told myself it was a flaw in the film. Or the camera. Old equipment. Old chemicals. It happens. But that night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about that shadow. About the old woman's words. Don't photograph what you can't see. What did that mean? Monday. I brought the camera to school. My students loved it. Mr. Hayes got a vintage camera. They begged me to take their photos. During lunch, I took a group shot. 5 kids. Smiling. Goofy. Making peace signs. The photo developed. And there she was. Not a shadow anymore. A woman. Pale. Long black hair. Standing directly behind the middle student. Her face was blurred. But I could see. Her mouth. Open. Like she was screaming. I dropped the photo. My hands shaking. One of the students picked it up. Cool. It looks haunted. They all laughed. Passed it around. Making jokes about ghosts. I forced a smile. But inside, I was terrified. Because I knew. This wasn't a flaw. This wasn't a trick of light. Something was in these photographs. Something real. That night, I spread all the photos on my dining room table. 3 photos. 3 appearances. Emma's kitchen photo. Shadow in the doorway. Rebecca's market photo. Shadow between the tents. The student photo. A woman. Clear. Clothes. I arranged them in order. And I saw it. The progression. She was getting closer. In the first photo, she was distant. Blurred. By the third, she was right behind them. Almost touching. I grabbed the camera. Held it up. Looked through the viewfinder at my empty living room. Nothing. Just furniture. Just walls. I pressed the button. The camera whirred. The photo slid out. I watched it develop. My living room appeared. The couch. The TV. The window. And standing in the corner. Next to the bookshelf. She was there. Clearer than ever. A woman. Pale skin. Black hair hanging over her face. Wearing something white. A dress. Or a gown. And her hands. Reaching forward. Toward the camera. Toward me. I dropped the photo. Backed away from the table. My heart pounding. Rebecca came downstairs. What's wrong? I couldn't speak. I just pointed. She looked at the photo. Picked it up. Studied it. Daniel. This is creepy. Where did you get this camera? I told her. The garage sale. The old woman. The warning. Rebecca's face went pale. Get rid of it. I nodded. Tomorrow. I'll throw it away. But even as I said it, I knew. It wasn't that simple. Because that night, at 3:17 a.m., I woke up. The room was freezing. My breath came out in clouds. And I heard it. From downstairs. A sound. Mechanical. Familiar. Whir. Click. Whir. Click. The camera. Taking photos. By itself that I sat up in bed. Listening. Whir. Click. Whir. Click. The sound was coming from downstairs. From the dining room. Where I'd left the camera. Rebecca stirred beside me. What is that? She whispered. I didn't answer. I got out of bed. Slowly. My legs shaking. Walked to the bedroom door. Opened it. The hallway was dark. Cold. I could see my breath. I crept down the stairs. One step at a time. The sound continued. Rhythmic. Mechanical. Whir. Click. Whir. Click. Like someone was pressing the shutter. Over and over. When I reached the bottom, I peered around the corner into the dining room. The camera was on the table, where I'd left it. But it was moving. Tilting. Adjusting. Like invisible hands were holding it. Taking photos. Of my living room. Of the kitchen. Of the stairs where I stood. I stepped into the room. Stop. My voice barely a whisper. The camera stopped. Dead silence. It sat there. Motionless. Normal. Just an old Polaroid. I approached slowly. Reached for it. My hand trembling. And then I saw them. The photos. Scattered across the table. At least a dozen. All developed. All showing my house. Empty rooms. Dark hallways. And in every single one, she was there. The woman. In different positions. Standing by the couch. Leaning in the kitchen doorway. Sitting on the stairs. And in the last photo. The most recent one. She was standing right behind where I was standing now. I spun around. Nothing. Just my empty dining room. Just shadows. But the photo didn't lie. She had been there. Right behind me. I grabbed the camera. Ran to the kitchen. Opened the back door. Walked outside into the yard. I was going to throw it away. Smash it. Bury it. Anything to make it stop. But as I raised it over my head, ready to slam it against the concrete, I heard a voice. Soft. Female. Coming from the camera itself. Please. Don't. I froze. The voice again. I need you to see. I need someone to know. My hands lowered. Against my will. Who are you? I whispered. Silence. Then. My name was Claire. I died in 1986. And no one remembered me. Until you. I dropped the camera. It hit the grass. But didn't break. I backed away. Into my house. Slammed the door. Locked it. Leaned against it. Breathing hard. Rebecca was standing in the kitchen. Eyes wide. What the hell is going on? I told her everything. The voice. The photos. The woman named Claire. Rebecca grabbed her phone. I'm calling the police. I stopped her. And tell them what? That a ghost is using a Polaroid camera. She stared at me. This isn't funny, Daniel. I knew it wasn't. But I also knew. The police couldn't help. This was something else. Something beyond normal. Something I had to understand. The next morning, I called in sick to work. I couldn't go. Couldn't pretend everything was normal. Instead, I went to the Modesto Library. I searched newspaper archives. For Claire. Death. 1986, it took 3 hours. But I found it. A small article. Page 6. Modesto B. October 12, 1986. Local woman found dead in apartment. Claire Whitmore. 28, found deceased in her apartment on Oakdale Road. Cause of death. Undetermined. No foul play suspected. Oakdale Road. The same street where I bought the camera. I kept reading. Ms. Whitmore lived alone. She was a photographer, known for her Polaroid work. Her body was discovered by her landlord after neighbors reported a smell. She had been dead for approximately 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Alone. No one checking on her. No one noticing. I felt sick. I printed the article. Drove to Oakdale Road. Found the address mentioned. 847 Oakdale. It was the same house. The same garage sale. The same old woman who sold me the camera. I knocked on the door. No answer. I knocked again. Harder. The door opened. The old woman stood there. She didn't look surprised. I was wondering when you'd come back. I held up the article. Claire Whitmore. Was she your daughter? The woman's face tightened. My sister. She stepped aside. Come in. I hesitated. But I needed answers. I walked inside. The house was old. Dark. Smelled like dust and mothballs. She led me to a small living room. Sat in a worn armchair. Claire was talented. She loved photography. Especially Polaroids. She said they captured truth. Moments you couldn't fake. The woman paused. She died alone. In her apartment. And I found her. 2 weeks later. I'm sorry, I said. She waved her hand. Sorry doesn't change anything. After she died, I kept her things. Including that camera. Her favorite. For years. It sat in my closet. But then, strange things started happening. Photos would appear. Developed. Lying on my dresser. Photos I didn't take. Photos of Claire. Standing in my house. Watching me. I felt cold. Why did you sell it? Because I'm old. I'm dying. And I didn't want it in this house when I'm gone. I thought. Maybe someone else could help her. Or stop her. She looked at me. But now I see. She chose you. And she won't let go until you give her what she wants. I swallowed hard. What does she want? The woman smiled. Sad. Tired. To be remembered. To be seen. She died alone. Forgotten. And now. She'll make sure. She's never forgotten again. I left the house. Shaking. Drove home. The camera was still on my kitchen counter. Where I'd left it that morning. I stared at it. Part of me wanted to destroy it. Burn it. End this nightmare. But another part. The part that read that article. That saw Claire's lonely death. Felt something else. Pity. Maybe even obligation. She didn't ask for this. She didn't deserve to die alone. Forgotten. That night. I took one more photo. Of myself. Standing in my living room. The photo developed. And there she was. Standing beside me. No longer blurry. No longer distant. Clear. Solid. Real. Her face was visible now. Young. Sad. Beautiful. And she was smiling. Just slightly. Like she was grateful. I whispered. I see you, Claire. I remember you. The temperature in the room warmed. Just a little. And for the first time since I bought that camera. I didn't feel afraid. But I should have been. Because remembering her was only the beginning for 3 days. Nothing happened. The camera sat on my shelf. Silent. Normal. I almost convinced myself it was over. That acknowledging Claire, remembering her, had been enough. But I was wrong. Because on Thursday night, Emma came to me, holding a Polaroid. One I didn't take. "Daddy, why is there a lady in my room?" My blood went cold. I took the photo from her small hands. It showed Emma's bedroom. Her bed. Her stuffed animals. Her nightlight. And standing in the corner, by her closet, was Claire. Not blurry anymore. Not distant. Clear. Solid. Staring directly at the camera. Directly at Emma. My daughter looked up at me. She watches me sleep. Every night. I ran to Emma's room. Threw open the closet door. Nothing. Checked under the bed. Behind the curtains. Nothing. But I felt it. That cold. That presence. She was there. Just invisible. I grabbed Emma. Held her close. "You're sleeping in our room tonight." Rebecca appeared in the doorway. "What's going on?" I showed her the photo. Her face went white. "Daniel. This has to stop. Now." That night, Emma slept between us. I didn't sleep at all. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, listening. At 3:33 a.m., I heard it again. Whir. Click. Whir. Click. The camera. I got up. Walked downstairs. The camera was in the living room. Moving. Taking photos. I grabbed it. "What do you want?" I shouted. Silence. Then, the photos lying on the floor. I picked them up. All of Emma. Sleeping. Different angles. Different positions. All taken tonight. While we slept. And in the last photo, Claire was standing over Emma's side of the bed. Her hand reaching down. Almost touching her face. I smashed the camera against the wall. It shattered. Pieces of metal and plastic scattering across the floor. I was breathing hard. Shaking. "Stay away from my daughter." The room went ice cold. The lights flickered. And then I heard it. That voice. Louder now. Angry. "You promised to remember me. But you forgot already. You all forget. Everyone forgets." The TV turned on by itself. Static. White noise. And in the static, I saw her. Claire's face. Contorted. Screaming. "I won't be forgotten again." I ran upstairs. Woke Rebecca. "We're leaving. Now. Pack a bag." She didn't argue. We grabbed Emma. Still half asleep. Threw clothes in a duffel bag. Ran to the car. As I backed out of the driveway, I looked at the house. Every window was lit. Every light on. And in each window, I saw her. Claire. Standing. Watching. Waiting. We stayed at a motel that night. The Travelodge on McHenry. Room 214. Emma fell asleep quickly. Exhausted. Rebecca and I sat on the bed. Silent. Finally she spoke. "What did we do? What did you do?" I told her everything. The old woman. Claire's death. Her loneliness. I thought acknowledging her would be enough. I thought she just wanted to be seen. Rebecca shook her head. "You opened a door, Daniel. And now she won't leave." The next morning, I called a priest, Father Miguel from St. Joseph's. I'd never been religious, but I was desperate. He agreed to meet me at the house. When we arrived, the front door was open. I knew I'd locked it. We walked inside. The house was trashed. Furniture overturned. Pictures smashed. Photos. Hundreds of them. Polaroids. Covering every surface. The walls. The floor. The ceiling. All showing the same thing. Claire. In our house. In our rooms. In our lives. Father Miguel blessed the house. Prayed. Sprinkled holy water. But I could feel it. It wasn't working. The cold remained. The presence remained. He looked at me. Sweat on his forehead. This isn't a simple haunting. She's attached. Not just to the house. To you. To your family. You invited her in. And she won't leave willingly. He gave me a number. Call this woman. Dr. Sarah Chen. She specializes in cases like this. Cases the church can't handle. I called Dr. Chen that afternoon. She agreed to meet me the next day. She was a parapsychologist. Studied hauntings. Possessions. The scream was inhuman. It shattered the windows. The walls shook. Claire lunged forward. But she couldn't cross the flames. Dr. Chen grabbed my arm. Keep burning. Don't stop. I threw more photos into the fire. Claire's image curled. Blackened. Turned to ash. She clawed at the air. Her face contorting. You're killing me again. You're erasing me. I shouted back. You're already dead. You died alone in 1986. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But you can't have my daughter. The flames roared higher. The last photo burned. The final piece of the camera melted. And Claire flickered. Like a bad TV signal. Her scream faded. Her body became transparent. She reached for me one last time. Her mouth forming words I couldn't hear. And then she was gone. The room went silent. The temperature returned to normal. Dr. Chen checked her EMF reader. Nothing. She's gone. I collapsed against the wall. Breathing hard. Is it over? Dr. Chen nodded slowly. For now. We left the building at 1:30 a.m. drove back to the motel. I burst into the room. Rebecca was sitting on the bed. Crying. Emma was lying down. Eyes closed. Not moving. She won't wake up. Rebecca sobbed. I ran to Emma. Shook her gently. Emma. Emma. Nothing. Dr. Chen pushed past me. Checked Emma's pulse. Her breathing. She's alive. But she's not here. Claire took something when she left. A piece of Emma's soul. A connection. How do I get it back? My voice cracked. Dr. Chen looked grim. I don't know. This is beyond anything I've seen. Claire was angry. Desperate. When spirits like that are forced out, they take something with them. As revenge. I grabbed Emma's hand. It was cold. Ice cold. There has to be a way. There has to be. Dr. Chen pulled out her phone. Made a call. Spoke in hushed tones. Hung up. There's someone. A medium. In Sacramento. She might be able to help. But it's expensive. And dangerous. We drove to Sacramento at 3 a.m. Emma in the back seat. Still unconscious. still cold. Rebecca held her, crying silently. I drove faster than I should have. Ran red lights. Didn't care. We arrived at a small house in Midtown. Victorian. Dark. A woman answered the door. Old. Indigenous features. Long gray hair. You're the ones Dr. Chen called about. She looked past me. At Emma in Rebecca's arms. Bring her inside. Quickly. The house smelled like sage. Incense. Candles everywhere. The woman led us to a back room. Empty except for a circle of salt on the floor. Lay her in the center. Rebecca hesitated. Is this safe? The woman's eyes were hard. Your daughter is in the space between life and death. Between here and there. If we don't bring her back tonight, she'll drift too far. And she'll never return. Rebecca laid Emma in the circle. The woman knelt beside her. Began chanting. Words I didn't recognize. The candles flickered. The temperature dropped. And then Emma's eyes opened. But they weren't her eyes. They were black. Empty. And when she spoke, it wasn't her voice. It was Claire's. You burned me. You erased me. Now I'll take what's yours. The woman continued chanting. Louder. Emma's body convulsed. Arched. Her mouth opened impossibly wide. And black smoke poured out. Thick. Choking. It filled the room. Formed a shape. Claire. One last time. She looked at me. Pure hatred. You should have helped me. Now no one can help you. The woman threw something into the smoke. A powder. It ignited. Bright white light. Claire's form exploded. Dissipated. The room went silent. Emma collapsed. The woman caught her. Checked her pulse. She's back. But she's weak. She needs rest. And protection. She pulled out a small pouch. Tied it around Emma's neck. Keep this on her. Always. It will protect her from entities. From attachments. From things like Claire. I took Emma in my arms. She felt lighter. Fragile. But her skin was warm again. We drove home at dawn. Emma slept the entire way. When we arrived, the house felt different. Clean. Empty. Like whatever had been there was truly gone. We put Emma in our bed. She slept for 16 hours. When she woke up, she looked at me. And smiled. Hi, Daddy. Her voice. Her eyes. Her. I hugged her so tight. Hi, baby. How do you feel? She thought about it. Tired. And I had weird dreams. About a sad lady. I kissed her forehead. It's okay. She's gone now. She can't hurt you anymore. Over the next few days, life slowly returned to normal. Emma went back to school. Rebecca went back to work. I threw away every photo in the house. Deleted every digital image. I didn't want any more pictures. Any more memories. Any more chances for something to come back. But at night, when the house was quiet, I sometimes wondered, did I do the right thing? Claire was real. She lived. She died alone. Forgotten. And I promised to remember her. But in the end, I erased her. Completely. 2 weeks later, I received a letter. No return address. Just my name. Handwritten. Inside was a single sentence. Some people deserve to be forgotten. But they never forget you. And beneath it, a Polaroid photo of me, sleeping in my bed, taken from inside my room, taken 2 nights ago, and standing in the corner, behind the camera's perspective, was a shadow, tall, thin, familiar. I dropped the letter, ran to my bedroom, searched every corner. Nothing. But the photo didn't lie. That night, I heard it again. Whir. Click. Whir. Click. Coming from somewhere inside the walls. I never found the camera. But I still hear it. Taking photos. Documenting my life. Watching. Waiting. And sometimes, when I wake up in the middle of the night, I see her, standing in the doorway, not moving, not speaking, just watching. Claire never left. She just learned to hide. And now, she's patient. Because she knows. Eventually, I'll be alone. Just like she was. And when that day comes, she'll be there, waiting, to make sure I'm never forgotten, that I didn't tell Rebecca about the letter or the photo. I couldn't. She was finally sleeping through the night again. Emma was laughing, playing, being a kid. I wouldn't take that away from them. So I carried it alone. The knowledge that Claire was still here, still watching, still waiting. I installed cameras, security systems, motion detectors. But none of them ever caught anything. Just me, walking through my own house, looking over my shoulder, jumping at shadows. 3 months passed. October arrived. The air turned cold. Leaves fell. And the photos started appearing again. Not from a camera this time. Just appearing on my car windshield in the morning. Slipped under my office door at school. Tucked inside my jacket pocket. All Polaroids. All showing me. At different times. Different places. Walking to my car. Teaching my class. Sitting alone in my living room at night. And in every single one, Claire was there. Closer each time. Standing behind me. Beside me. In one photo. Her hand was on my shoulder. I started seeing her everywhere. Not just in photos. In reflections. In store windows as I walked past. In my rearview mirror while driving. Always the same. Long black hair. White dress. Empty eyes. Watching. I'd blink and she'd be gone. But the feeling remained. That cold. That presence. That certainty that I was never alone. Have you ever felt that? Like someone's always in the room with you. Even when you know. You desperately know. You're alone. My students noticed. Mr. Hayes. Are you okay? You look tired. I forced smiles. Made excuses. Stress. Insomnia. Allergies. But the truth was simpler. I was being haunted. Slowly. Methodically. Claire was breaking me down. One photo at a time. One sighting at a time. Until I'd be just like her. Isolated. Alone. Forgotten by everyone except the ghost that wouldn't let go. One night in late October. Rebecca was at her sister's. Emma was sleeping at a friend's house. I was alone. I told myself it would be fine. Just one night. But at 11:47 p.m., the lights went out. All of them. At once, I grabbed my phone. Used the flashlight. The house was freezing. My breath visible. I walked through the living room, kitchen, dining room. Everything looked normal. Until I reached the hallway, leading to the bedrooms. And there, at the end, standing in the darkness, was Claire. Not transparent. Not blurry. Solid. Real. Like a living person. She was staring at me. Not moving. Not blinking. Just staring. I couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. We stood there. In silence. For what felt like hours. Finally, she spoke. Her voice soft. Sad. Why did you leave me? I forced my voice to work. You were dead. You still are. She tilted her head. Am I? I feel so alive now. Thanks to you. You gave me purpose. Connection. You gave me life. She stepped closer. I stepped back. My back hit the wall. She kept coming. One step at a time. Her bare feet silent on the hardwood. I was alone for so long. Decades. Waiting. Rotting. Forgotten. But you saw me. You remembered me. And now, I can't let go. I won't. Because if I do, I'll disappear. Completely. And I'd rather die 1,000 times than be forgotten again. She was inches from me now. Her face close to mine. Her breath cold against my skin. So I'm staying. Forever. Whether you like it or not. I shoved past her. Ran to the front door. Tried to open it. Locked. I twisted the deadbolt. Pulled. Nothing. The door wouldn't budge. I ran to the back door. Same thing. Windows. Locked. Sealed. Like the house itself was holding me inside. I spun around. Claire was standing in the middle of the living room. You can't leave. Not until you understand. This is what it feels like. To be trapped. To be alone. To have no one hear you scream. And then, she smiled. And it was the most terrifying thing I'd ever seen. I grabbed a chair. Smashed it through the living room window. Glass shattered. Alarm blaring. I climbed through. Cutting my hands. My arms. Didn't care. I ran. Down the street. Past neighbors' houses. Past streetlights. I ran until I reached a 7-Eleven. Burst inside. The clerk stared at me. Sir. Are you okay? You're bleeding. I looked down. My hands. My arms. Covered in blood. I collapsed against the counter. Call the police. Please. Someone's in my house. The clerk dialed 911. The police arrived 20 minutes later. I gave them my address. Told them someone broke in. Attacked me. They drove me home. 2 officers entered my house. Searched every room. Came back out. Sir. There's no one inside. And the windows are intact. Nothing's broken. I stared at them. What? No. I broke the living room window. There's glass everywhere. They exchanged glances. Sir. There's no broken window. Everything's locked from the inside. Are you sure you're all right? Have you been drinking? They checked my hands. My arms. No cuts. No blood. I looked down. My skin was perfect. Unmarked. But I'd felt the glass. Felt the pain. Felt the blood running down my arms. One officer handed me a card. Here's a number for mental health services. Stress can cause episodes. Hallucinations. It's nothing to be ashamed of. They left. I stood in my driveway. Alone. Staring at my house. Every window perfect. Every door locked. And in the living room window, I saw her. Claire. Standing. Watching. Waving. Slowly. I didn't go back inside that night. I slept in my car. When Rebecca came home the next morning, she found me there. Daniel. What happened? I wanted to tell her everything. But I knew. She wouldn't believe me. The police didn't. No one would. Because Claire was smart. She only showed herself to me. Only tormented me. Everyone else saw a man. Slowly losing his mind. And maybe I was. Maybe she'd already won. Maybe I was becoming exactly what she wanted. A ghost. Haunted by a ghost. Until there was nothing left of me. But her. I moved out 2 days later. Told Rebecca I needed space. Time to think. She didn't fight me. I could see it in her eyes. The worry. The fear. Not of Claire. Of me. I rented a studio apartment across town. Furnished. Minimal. No personal items. No photos. Nothing that could anchor Claire to me. I thought distance would help. I thought leaving the house would break the connection. I was wrong. The first night in the new apartment, I woke at 3:33 a.m. to find a Polaroid on my nightstand. I never owned another Polaroid camera. Never brought one to this apartment. But there it was. A photo of me. Sleeping. Taken from above. From where someone would stand. If they were watching. And in the corner of the photo, written in white ink, 3 words. I'm still here. I threw the photo away. But the next night, another appeared. And the next. And the next. All showing me. In my new apartment. Cooking. Showering. Sleeping. Living. And always. Always. Claire was in them. Getting closer. In one photo. She was standing in my doorway. In the next. At the foot of my bed. In the most recent. She was lying beside me. Her face inches from mine. Her eyes open. Staring. I stopped sleeping. I'd sit in a chair. Lights on. Coffee in hand. Trying to stay awake. But exhaustion always won. And when I'd wake, there'd be new photos. Documenting my unconsciousness. My vulnerability. My inevitable defeat. I started recording myself at night. Set up my phone. Pressed record. Went to sleep. In the morning, I'd watch the footage. And there, at 3:33 a.m., every night, the screen would go to static. For exactly 7 minutes. When the video resumed, I'd be in a different position. And there'd be a new photo on my nightstand. I went back to Dr. Chen. Desperate. She's still attached to me. Stronger than before. How do I stop this? Dr. Chen looked grim. When you burned her possessions, you didn't set her free. You trapped her in the only anchor she had left. You. Your consciousness. Your memory. As long as you remember her. As long as you acknowledge her existence. She can manifest. She can touch this world. Through you. I felt sick. So what? I just forget her. Pretend she doesn't exist. Dr. Chen shook her head. It's too late for that. She's part of you now. Embedded. Like a parasite. The only way to remove her is to remove the part of you she's attached to. What does that mean? I asked. Dr. Chen hesitated. There's a procedure. Experimental. Dangerous. It involves suppressing specific memories. Using hypnotherapy. Targeted amnesia. If we can erase your memory of Claire, of buying that camera, of everything connected to her, she'll lose her anchor. She'll fade. But there are risks. You could lose other memories. Important ones. Family. Friends. Yourself. I didn't hesitate. Do it. I don't care. I just want her gone. The procedure took 3 hours. Dr. Chen put me under deep hypnosis. She guided me through my memories, isolating every moment connected to Claire. The garage sale. The camera. The photos. The hauntings. One by one. She pulled them out. Buried them. Locked them away in parts of my mind I couldn't access. When I woke, I felt empty. Lighter. But hollow. Like something essential had been removed. Dr. Chen showed me a photo. Do you recognize this woman? I stared at it. A woman with long black hair. White dress. Empty eyes. No. Should I? Dr. Chen smiled. Relieved. No. You shouldn't. I went home that night. To my studio apartment. I slept. For the first time in weeks. I slept without fear. Without cold. Without that presence. When I woke, there were no photos. No messages. No signs. Just silence. Peace. Normal. I called Rebecca. I'm feeling better. I want to come home. Can we try again? She cried. Yes. Yes. Please come home. I moved back that weekend. Life returned to normal. Slowly. Carefully. Emma hugged me. I missed you, Daddy. Rebecca kissed me. Welcome home. We had dinner. Watched a movie. Went to bed. Normal. Perfect. Everything I'd wanted. But that night, as I lay in bed, Rebecca sleeping beside me, I heard it. Faint. Distant. Whir. Click. Whir. Click. I sat up. Listened. Nothing. Just silence. I told myself I imagined it. Stress. Lingering anxiety. I lay back down. Closed my eyes. And felt it. A cold hand. On my shoulder. I opened my eyes. The room was empty. But in the mirror across from the bed, I saw her. Claire. Standing behind me. Her face pressed against mine. Her lips moving. Whispering. You can forget me. But I'll never forget you. I blinked. She was gone. But the cold remained. And I realized. Dr. Chen was wrong. Forgetting Claire didn't erase her. It just made her invisible. Unremembered. Free to exist in the spaces I couldn't see. In the memories I couldn't access. She wasn't gone. She just evolved. The next morning, I found a Polaroid on the kitchen counter. I didn't remember it being there. The photo showed my family. Rebecca. Emma. Me. Smiling. Happy. Normal. Except there was a fourth person in the photo. Standing behind us. A woman with long black hair. Her hand on Emma's shoulder. And written on the back, in handwriting I didn't recognize, but somehow knew, was mine. Were 4 words. She's part of us now. I dropped the photo. My hands shaking. Because I realized, the worst thing about forgetting is that you don't know what you've lost, or what's taken its place that I should have known it wouldn't end. Ghosts don't give up. They don't move on. They just wait. And Claire had waited 38 years before I found her. What's a few more months? A few more years? An eternity? Time means nothing to the dead. But it means everything to the living. And that's how she wins. By being patient. While we age. While we forget. While we become ghosts ourselves. Emma started drawing again. Not the happy crayon pictures of princesses and rainbows. Dark pencil sketches. Of a woman. Standing in doorways. Watching. Rebecca asked her about them. "Who is this, sweetie?" Emma looked up. Her eyes distant. "I don't know. She says she's family. She says she's always been here." Rebecca showed me the drawings. "Does this look familiar to you?" I stared at the woman's face. Long black hair. Empty eyes. Something deep inside me stirred. A memory trying to surface. But it stayed buried. No. I've never seen her before. But that was a lie. Because every night, in my dreams, I saw her. Clearly. Vividly. She'd walk through my house. Sit at our dinner table. Stand beside Emma's bed. And in the dreams, this felt normal. Natural. Like she belonged. Like she'd always been there. When I'd wake, I'd forget the details. But the feeling remained. That certainty. That we weren't alone. That we'd never be alone again. Rebecca started seeing her too. Not in dreams. In reflections. "Daniel. I saw someone in the bathroom mirror. Behind me. When I turned around. No one was there." I told her it was stress. Fatigue. Tricks of light. But I knew better. Claire was expanding. Growing stronger. Feeding off our family. Off our energy. Off our slowly fragmenting reality. She was becoming real. One day at a time. One sighting at a time. Until we wouldn't question her presence. We'd just accept it. One Saturday morning in December. I was making breakfast. Emma was coloring at the table. Rebecca was reading the news on her tablet. A normal moment. A perfect moment. And then Emma spoke. Without looking up from her drawing. "Mommy. Daddy. Can Claire sit with us?" Rebecca and I froze. "Who's Claire, honey?" Emma pointed at the empty chair beside her. "She's right there. Can't you see her?" I looked at the chair. Empty. Just air. But the temperature had dropped. My breath fogged. And I felt it. That presence. That certainty. Someone was sitting there. Rebecca's face went pale. "Emma. There's no one there." Emma looked confused. "Yes, there is. She's smiling at you. She says. She says she's happy to finally be part of the family." I grabbed Emma's hand. "Come on. We're going outside." I pulled her from the chair. Rebecca followed. We stood on the front lawn. In the cold December air. Emma started crying. "Why are you mad at Claire? She's been so nice to us. She watches over me at night. She tells me stories. She loves us." I knelt down. Held Emma's shoulders. "Listen to me. There is no Claire. You're imagining things. It's not real." But even as I said it, I knew I was lying. Because I could see her now. Through the window. Standing in our kitchen. Washing dishes. Moving through our house. Like she lived there. Like she'd always lived there. And the worst part, the most terrifying part, was that it felt right. It felt like she belonged. That night, I called Dr. Chen. The procedure didn't work. She's still here. Stronger than before. And now my daughter sees her. My wife sees her. What do I do? Dr. Chen was quiet for a long time. Finally she spoke. "Daniel. Some hauntings can't be stopped. Some spirits are so determined, so attached, that they become part of the fabric of reality. They write themselves into your life, into your family, until you can't separate them from truth. Claire isn't haunting you anymore. She's become you. Part of your family structure. And the only way to remove her now is to remove yourselves." "What does that mean?" I asked. My voice shaking. Dr. Chen sighed. "Leave. The house. The city. The state. Start completely over. New identities. New lives. Cut all ties to anything Claire touched. It's the only way." I hung up. Looked at Rebecca. At Emma. At our life. Our home. Everything we built. Could I really ask them to give it all up? To run from a ghost? To become ghosts ourselves? But the decision was made for me. Because that night, at 3:33 a.m., I woke to find Rebecca sitting up in bed, staring at the wall. "Rebecca?" I whispered. She turned to me. And her eyes were empty. Black. Like Claire's. She smiled. "She's right. We are a family now. The four of us." I scrambled out of bed. "Rebecca. Fight it. She's in your head." But Rebecca just laughed. Claire's laugh. "You can't fight what you don't remember."